What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 132 of SDGC for Thursday, January 3rd. If you're not aware, Super Deformed Gamescast meets every Thursday night right here at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we discuss the latest gaming headlines with a wide variety of panel members and guests. We also do all kinds of other stuff as time allows, like a separate show about movies and TV, community game streaming, and a mental health support show. If you've been along for the ride so far, welcome home, and if not, feel free to stick around and maybe throw us a follow. Every single podcast is archived the next day on our YouTube channel for those who like to watch, and you can find us on SoundCloud and Google Podcasts for those who like to listen. My name is John, and tonight I'm joined by Derek.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
Justin.
Hi, everyone.
Zach.
Hey, how's it going?
Brandon.
My boys.
And Jeff.
I'm so tired.
We are SDGC, and with that being said,
we're fired up.
What do you guys think about sick opening? What do you guys think about sick opening? You like that, right?
Getting That's standardized.
John, don't lie. How many times did you practice that?
Like, I don't know, only 20 minutes.
It was good. It was good.
Welcome to 2019. We're getting official here, finally. After how many years? Like,
so I just want an official SDGC.
I want to hit up our boy Finn in chat. No, you may not call in, Finn. Sorry, I want you to focus on the road. Absolutely fucking not. Guys, how is everybody? How was your holiday?
Pretty good.
It was all right.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I got that PSVR, and
really?
No fucking bullshit. I'm a believer.
How do you play Tetris Effect?
I've played Tetris Effect. I've played Astrobot, which is the fucking truth, by the way. Justin was not lying.
That guy wasn't lying. Remember, like, that guy on Twitter was like, Astrobot is going to change the world.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the guy that was like, yeah, it's the Mario 64 of VR.
Yeah,
and, like, people got offended that he made that comparison, and it straight up is.
Yep. He's not fucking wrong. He's not. Zach, you played. Zach, you got a VR. You got a PSVR headset.
I similarly got one for the holidays. It was great.
Yeah, so 3 of us got PSVRs this holiday, didn't we? It was me, Zach, and John are the new VR owners, correct?
But see, here's the thing. Like, the circumstances of me getting mine were a little weird, right? So, like, I went to the jewelry store and I got some jewelry for Vicky. And
we get it, John. You're a good husband.
No. Listen, Zach, listen. Let me explain, my gaming son. So I went to Hellsberg Diamonds, and if you spend a certain amount of money there,
this episode brought to you by Hellsberg Diamonds.
Hellsberg Diamonds, please.
Is fucking Satan working the counter? Because
let's get that sponsorship going.
That one will cost 1/64 of your soul.
By the way, John, this sounds like the sketchiest deal. Like, yeah, I went to this diamond shop.
So listen. No,
walk down with a PSVR.
Legit Hellsberg. I walk into this place and I pay a certain amount of money, and without even so they walk back, they wrap everything up, and then they plunk down this Nintendo Switch on the counter, and I was like, wait, what? I was like, what? And she was like, well, you spent X amount of dollars, and with that you get a free Google or a free Nintendo Switch. And I was like, I was like, so, like, I just stared at her for a minute, and I was like, that's the strangest fucking promotion I've ever
Did you
heard
look at the box?
Life.
Was there blood on it?
so like I was weirded out at first, right?
Was there a receipt inside the box where somebody else?
She acknowledged it too. She was like, she looked around, her voice got really low, and she's like, "Yeah, it doesn't make much sense, does it?" And I was like, "No, it really doesn't." And then, I had to ask.
That doesn't help.
I had to ask, like, I was like, "This is on the up and up, right? Like, this is legit." And she was
guys,
like,
you know what?
Dude, it was in the mall, so I was like, okay.
You know what this means? This means the Nintendo Switch sales numbers are faked!
I shop
Reggie's in the back.
Yeah.
Making her push that Switch.
Hold on. Zach, what's that?
I shop at K this holiday season because I'm here for the Soldier Boy box, so...
Oh, yeah!
Soldier Game HD!
So like at this point, like, I'm like, fine, fuck it, give me the Switch. So like we already have 2 Switches in this house, and when my son's here, we have a third. So I took it and I fucking sold it at a pawn shop. I was like, what am I doing with this thing? And I bought a PSVR. And so yeah, that was the story of how your boy got a PSVR this Christmas. I'm still not. Well, like the weird thing is, she's like, if you'd spent like this much money, you would have gotten a Google Home too. And I'm like, what the fuck are you people doing? Like, this like what was there like a truck that got stolen? It was full of Nintendo Switches and Google Homes.
They definitely got like a delivery that was meant for like a different store and decided to just run with it.
Just unloaded in their
Yeah.
It didn't make any fucking sense.
Do you need like an LG soundbar maybe? Because we have those.
I asked her if she could throw in the Google Home. I was like, "Do you want to toss me the Google Home too?" And she's like, "No, sorry, I can't do that." I wanted to be like, "Well, it's probably stolen anyway." So I mean,
listen. The Best Buy next door is liquidating. We just are helping them out.
And by the way, I just want to point out somebody we mentioned the Soldier Box. That thing is dunsies, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Oh yeah.
But like
Nintendo ain't gonna do shit.
Nintendo,
Famous
so, like,
last words.
Literally, literally.
You have no idea.
Literally the day.
The ninjas are famous, dude.
They wear very nice gray suits, by the way.
Yeah, because we know Nintendo, is very soft on ROMs and emulators and everything.
Nintendo, who once shut down costume parties because they were too close to Pokemon in New York City. Do you remember that? Like a year and a half.
Holy shit! Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. They were closing down like holiday costume parties for Pokemon. Yep.
What the fuck?
Yep.
So I just want to point out that Soulja Boy tweeted, "Nintendo ain't gonna do shit," and then the very next day he was like,
it was a couple days later.
It's legit. I'm partnered with him.
What like a few days later he literally just tweeted out, "I had to do what I had to do," and like shut the whole thing down. And Nintendo started snapping up Soulja Boy sites or like domain names with Soulja Boy in it. And it was so fucking good.
They own him.
Yeah. Nintendo owns Soulja Boy now.
He's gonna be in Smash.
No, yeah, but they're gonna replace the sandbag with him.
He's a Nintendo character now, and he's going to be the new sandbag.
He's gonna be the sandbag. Oh, that's fucking great. Shout out to what's that?
No, I was just gonna say.
No, please.
Just PSVR. You were talking about Astrobot. Astrobot's been good. I've played World 1 of Astrobot. What other PSVR games are you kind of spending your time with?
I played Tetris Effect, which was a fucking talk about an emotional experience. Like, I mean, I never thought I'd say Tetris Effect made me feel emotional and really got me. But man, like playing that thing in VR is so much different than playing it on any screen. I mean, like it's just what a visceral emotional experience. Like I just man, have you tried it, Zach?
Yeah, so I have it, and I think I'm with you. Like it mostly fucking works for me. Like I love there's a couple pop songs that have like that global we're all in this together like shit that I dig, and then they're occasionally like here's some tribal drums and masks, and I'm like hey, no, I don't know if this totally works.
I like the tribal drums and masks.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good game. It's a good game. I want to try Rush of Blood, and I want to try Resident Evil, but I'm a coward. So.
Oh my god, dude!
I have tried both of those.
Resident Evil is the real deal.
I have a couple old PlayStation moves from the PS3 days, which their batteries are shot. So I had to order some new ones. So I haven't been able to do too much of the motion control stuff.
Justin, you need to play Super Hot.
That's another one I need.
That would be an experience, I bet.
Super Hot with Move controllers. That will have you sweating like mad.
I'm getting it as soon as I get my new moves in. I ordered the moves, and I ordered the aim controller with Firewall.
Yeah.
So I've got that stuff coming, I think, next week.
Can I?
I spent a lot of time with Astrobot. No. I played through all the levels and majority of the challenge stages. I adore that game, and it keeps getting better as it goes on, like substantially better. But I tried Until Dawn, Rush of Blood, which is a rail shooter. I didn't realize it wasn't. It was just that. And the controls with the DualShock for that are rough. Like you have two guns that you hold separately. You hold the controller up, and then you turn it down, and then each stick aims the gun a little different way. Don't play that without the moves.
Nah.
It hurt my wrists.
Yeah.
And then what was the other one? You said
just
Resident Evil 7.
Resident Evil 7. Yeah.
It's really cool in
that
VR.
game is fucked up in VR, dude. That game is fucked up in VR.
So before we go fully into the holiday backlog, what we've played the last couple of weeks, I just want to give a quick anecdote of like why PSVR with Super Hot is so effective. There's just a single level. So the thing about the game that's different from the main line is like you're stationary. Like the whole thing is like you're in one spot and you can kind of move around. But like this one level allows you to, somebody spawns in front of you with a double barrel shotgun and you can reach forward and just pull it out of their hand, hit them with it, and then you can John Wick style grab a gun off the ground and then cross your arms and just shoot and clear out a whole room. And like, listen, Super Hot has always been a weird, somewhat pretentious, awesome game, but like there's just some next level bullshit you can do in VR in that game. It works so well. Like it is, Astrobot's great. This might be my favorite PSVR game I've played. Like,
Super Hot's good shit.
I really need to play Super Hot, dude. I have it. Plus, just from an aesthetic standpoint, Zach, it just looks sweet.
Well, and that's the thing about PSVR, right? Is like it doesn't look as good as some of your other VR options, and so like Super Hot is one thing that works really well within some of that limited vision.
Yeah. So that's one thing I've noticed, Zach, is that like the screen door effect is real.
It
like
looks real,
like it takes a minute to get used to.
Yeah, I've kind of gotten used to it, but yeah, it's definitely noticeable.
I notice it like when I'm looking at my 65-inch 4K TV and I put the headset on, and then like after 5 minutes of playing a game,
it's a relatively low res screen, isn't it? Like it's
it's like a 1080. It's like a 1080p screen, but like the pixels are concentrated in the center, and as you get more to the sides, it's like less dense, so it gets blurrier off to the sides, and it's an inch from your eyes instead of across the room.
Like I feel like I'm never quite sure if I actually have it focused, but I just adjust it until
I think I remember people saying that like if you compare that to like the Vive or the Oculus, like it's a tremendously lower resolution display inside the glasses. But then again, PSVR is a whole lot cheaper and more affordable by comparison. So
I think those are like 1440p screens versus the 1080p screen and the
I've got a PC that could run PCVR, but like it might sound silly because I know like the PSVR library is separate, but just the division between Oculus and Vive and the fact that there's exclusives for both of them. Like if I'm gonna buy a PC headset, I want to at least be able to play everything on PC, right? Like at least I know if I buy a PSVR, I can play every VR game on PS4.
And like that's kind of the thing about the state of VR is there's really cool stuff, but because it's still a very niche thing and likely will be for a while, you kind of have to have companies funding the
it's like exclusives. A console that requires another console. Basically what it is.
So like you've got like so much fragmentation between the three like high-end headsets that can be rough.
Jeff brings up that you go ahead and go for a sec.
No, I was gonna bring it to the next segment. Like,
okay, I was just gonna say real quick, like Jeff, you bring up that it's like a console you got to buy another console for, and it's kind of frustrating because it is very segmented away. Like I can't play the games that I already enjoy and want to play like on I mean, I can do like the virtual screen, but we were talking.
You don't want to do that.
We were talking in our chat before, and like what I really want is to be able to play just like Monster Hunter World or something and have like that virtual camera that's behind the character be able to like rotate it around. I mean, it still have to use the right stick, and people would get motion sick as hell from that, but like let us try it and get used to it, because that's the kind of stuff I want, is to be able to quickly like
and there is like some games that have a VR mode include, like when you go on the PSN store, there's like VR games and then VR mode games, so it's like Gran Turismo Sport and Ace Combat, where like they have a small chunk of the game for VR, but it's not like the full experience in VR. You can't just, it's not just a VR mode for everything.
I thought Ace Combat was the whole game
originally, and I thought I heard that it was toned down in some way, but
okay,
I'm not sure.
Like I played the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare thing. It's actually really cool.
I can imagine. No.
Is it the plane flying one?
Yeah. It's the space combat stuff.
I can see Zach's stomach churning.
That one was actually really cool. Like you can see the HUD, like it's like multi-layered, and it looks like it goes like way off into the distance for aiming and stuff. It's really neat. And it's just a free separate download. It's cool.
Yeah. That and then I've also heard the Star Wars Battlefront 1 VR mission is actually good too.
I've heard that as well.
but I also don't own it on PS, so it's like I'll get to it eventually.
Yeah. I'll install that and let you know how it is. I forgot about that.
So listen, John, Justin, and I have talked a lot about PSVR. Jeff, Brandon, Derek, we've had a holiday season. What have you guys been playing?
Let's hear it.
Nothing.
Nothing. Fucking nothing.
Wow, I've been playing Fortnite. What a surprise.
Fortnite? Okay. Are you entirely cold turkey off of Overwatch? Are you totally done?
Yeah.
He's done.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Brandon's done, which is surreal. It's something I like. Brandon was it years of Brandon playing Overwatch, like literal years.
Listen, new year, new Brandon. It's all Fortnite now.
You would have felt the same way, but like a couple of years ago when I finally broke off StarCraft 2. Like StarCraft 2 was like the only game that I played for like 3
One
years.
addiction at a time, right?
I feel like whenever Brandon starts a new game and plays it for 2 years, we need to have like a special podcast. We need to have like a special party podcast to celebrate Brandon playing something else.
It's like a new season of SDGC.
That was about 3 months ago.
But no, I guess like I'll go quickly because I didn't play much. I will say Zach got me back into Battlefield 5 a little bit. I played like a bunch right at release because I bought like the deluxe edition thing, and then I just got so fucking busy. But we played some matches, and it's just an awesome game. Like I hadn't jumped into it for a while, and I was a bit worried. I read some of the stuff about the updates, but luckily I waited out till they reverted the TTK back and stuff. And man, the game just still feels so good.
It's a good fucking video game.
Yeah. And I had so many big plans. I was gonna play Red Dead. I was gonna finally get into Astrock. So I literally have the disc is in my PS4. The updates are installed. But VR is like a thing. Like a lot of my gaming's done like early in the morning before work. I play an hour here and there, and like when to play VR, I got to be alert. My eyes can't be like droopy and tired, or else I get strained really bad.
Yeah.
So it's just like I need to be in the zone to play it.
I just got like a weird mental picture of Jeff like dressed as a cowboy saying, "I do my gaming before breakfast."
What I'm really looking forward to is Jeff's thoughts on Red Dead 2 in July. I'm really looking forward to
Yeah.
Yeah.
As he starts the epilogue.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Hey guys, I'm almost done with chapter 6. How close to the end am I?
I will say, if I make it to July, there's a very real chance I just wait an extra 6 months and see if they announce a PC port or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is inevitable. Derek, what are you playing, dude?
Derek, what about
So, I mean, so usually, like, I've obviously been dumping a bunch of time into Smash. Now that all the Spider-Man DLC was out, I played through all the Spider-Man DLC. I was waiting to do it all in one big chunk.
I still need to do that.
And I really enjoyed it. I was quite happy with it. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Black Cat as a character, especially the way she's done in this, which is a little less fan servicey and more like she's the girl who is always going to let you down, even though you don't. Like you have hopes, which is my preferred take on the character. I always like Hammerhead as like a villain, and when we deal with mob stuff with Spider-Man, when you get to take that break from supervillains and go to more low-key mob stories, and it gets a bit bigger, but like it was a DLC pack that really spoke to me as a big Spider-Man fan. And then, of course, Steam sale. I grabbed a bunch of little indie stuff on the Steam sale, so I played through The Messenger and had a phenomenal time with it.
Fucking amazing game.
Really, really loved both. And then I've started playing, and I haven't had a lot of time to dedicate to it, so I'm not very far in, but I've started playing The Missing, largely because of Justin's talk as his runner-up for Game of the Year. I'm really enjoying it so far. And agreeing with a lot of what Justin said for what I've experienced, in that it's like it is a very visceral experience, but it's not a particularly graphic one. But if you're a very like empathetic person, then you're going to be very impacted by a lot of the way like the voice acting works and the way like that the violence is portrayed. But I'm very curious about it. And I don't know that I was ready for a world in which Swery is one of the most woke game developers, like in the indie sphere. Like, but let's go, man.
I want to hear your thoughts when you finish it.
Yeah.
Because the ending.
I have had one
phenomenal.
Piece of it spoiled for me, but like I'm not particularly bothered by spoilers myself. So, but I mean, obviously, I don't want to get into that on the show. So,
yeah.
So, and I've got a couple other things that I'm sitting and waiting on, but yeah, it's mostly I've been trying to catch up on the indie games because I played a lot of the big AAA games that I wanted to play. Other than I think like Dragon Quest, I've still got sitting in my backlog. But I'm doing solid. I played a little Pokemon Let's Go with Martha because I got it for Martha.
I finished actually, Derek. My first Pokemon Let's Go is my first game, or my first Pokemon game.
Yeah.
And after 50 hours, I have cleared the Elite Four and captured Mewtwo.
Cool.
So you know, like I'm not sure. Like I'll probably go back and I'll fight the Elite, you know, or you know, all the some
master trainers,
some of the
master
trainers. Yeah.
I feel like
I forgot about that. I was totally playing Pokemon yesterday, and man, fuck Rock Tunnel. That place
Rock
is
Tunnel.
awful.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yep.
This is my first Pokemon game too, and I had no idea. I just got lost in there for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
It sucked.
I feel like I mean I'm enjoying it enough. And I try really hard to preface every time I talk about it that I'm very happy the game exists and people have a good time with it. Most of what I've gotten out of it is I got really excited about Pokemon again, and I went back to playing other Pokemon games. So like I've been playing Heart Gold, you know, because I've needed some Pokemans.
As our resident Smash Daddy, you still smashing?
Ooh, Smash Daddy.
Yo, I'm still smashing.
Derek's
I'm spending more time arguing about stage lists than I am about actually playing Smash, but
like
it
a
is
real
what
Smash
it is.
fan would.
Right. Well, I'm again tournament organizer, so we got to have that shit figured out before we run events. But
Derek,
you know,
can we fucking agree that King K. Rool needs a nerf, like in the worst possible fucking way?
he needs some adjustments. He needs some adjustments. The biggest thing about King K. Rool to me,
He's too strong, Zach.
I think it's a little early to be like super. Like I think one of the biggest things, the only major change I want to make to King K. Rool, there's no reason his down throw should vary. That is stupid. That is so stupid.
I'm mostly just saying that because I was playing with Kyle Gatto a few days ago, and he beat me like 9 matches in a row, and he was King K. Rool, so fuck.
Well, he's probably just better than you.
But that too, but which is even more frustrating to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I want to say real quick, Zach, if you don't mind. I've been introducing my son to Super Nintendo games on the SNES Classic over the holidays. He sat down and watched me play through Super Metroid, and one of my fucking favorite games of all time. We actually cleared half of the games on the NES or on the Super Nintendo Mini. Super Punch Out, Super Metroid, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario World. Star Fox. So I'm trying to inspire a love of the classics in my very young gaming son.
Is he taking to it?
He is, although it kind of breaks my. There's one thing that broke my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
He was so fucking bored with Final Fantasy VI. He was so bored.
He's not probably old enough to really, you know.
He played it for like 10 minutes. And now, to be fair, I didn't make him. He wanted to try because he wanted to experience Daddy's favorite game. And he turned it on. And about 10 minutes in, he just looks at me and he was like, I was like, buddy, you can be honest with me about how you feel. And he said, I was like, do you think this is boring? And he goes, yeah, it's really boring, Daddy. And
it was too much reading. He wants to play.
Like, you can turn it off. Like, but in my heart broke just a little bit for innocence lost. My innocence, not his. But
you got to start the kids with Pokemon. Pokemon's how you get kids into RPGs, and then they start playing their Final Fantasies and Dragon Quests.
Fucking 80 hours, and he's 10 years old. And he's dropped 80 hours into Pokemon Let's Go. Zach, you want to keep us rolling, baby?
Yeah. I hope I'm not copying your role here.
No, please, no. I like this actually.
So
I
listen,
can get used to this.
We talked Astrobot. We talked The Messenger. 2018. There were a lot of games that came out. A lot of stuff flew under the radar, especially those last couple of months. What are those hidden gems y'all been playing? Justin?
So a couple. One of my regrets for 2018 is I didn't get to as many indie games as I usually do. I usually try to make a point of checking out some of those. I've talked about the missing plenty, but 2 that I want to mention are Florence and Donut County. Both of those games I played and I really, really loved. Florence is very short. I know it's on the App Store. I'm not sure if it's on other platforms or not, off the top of my head, but really, really cool. Really cool game. Really touching story about relationships and personal self-worth, and it has one of the coolest little dialogue systems I think I've seen. Like, there's no actual text, but like when Florence and the guy she's on a date with first meet, you have puzzle pieces that you have to put together to fill in the speech bubble. And then as they get to know each other, the puzzles get more simple. I thought there's a lot of really cool little effective storytelling mechanics in that I really liked. So it's also like 45 minutes long. So if you want to...
that's a short fucking game.
Yeah, so... And it's like
Wait,
a couple
how
bucks.
long? One more time?
Like 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
I gotta
Well,
play
you
this
said
game.
App Store, so is it a mobile game?
This is fucking Jeff's game right here.
It's
dude.
like a
It's
like
a mobile game. It's like
a nice
it's
digestible play anywhere
less
mobile
than-
title.
yeah, it's less than $5. Really nice little story.
Is it only on mobile?
It might be on PC. I'm actually not sure.
Okay, I'll look into it.
But yeah, Florence is great, and then Donut County is on, I think, everything at this point. And that's also just 2-hour game. Really kind of feels like, you know, a newer, similar take on Katamari, where you have this big hole that you're trying to drop stuff into. Really funny writing, great soundtrack. Really enjoyed it.
One of the things I love about Donut County, just to like piggyback on that, is like I feel like Donut County and Night in the Woods are the two games in the last like couple of years where we really have seen millennial writing come through in a really strong way, where it doesn't feel like it's being like, this is how millennials talk. It's like, no, I'm a millennial and I'm writing for millennials.
I agree.
Do any of them eat avocado toast in the game though? Like that's my question though. Like if we want to get as accurate as we possibly can about like writing,
Zach is thinking about how he can best push back against this joke.
Let's be honest though, Zach, it was a pretty shitty joke. Like it wasn't my best. It wasn't my best work.
Great. Listen, you're almost a boomer, so we can.
Zach,
you know,
Jesus,
you're doing your best.
Christ, dude, holy shit.
Sorry, boomer game dad.
Oh my god.
Anybody else been playing some low key games from last year?
I have actually.
Oh, of course.
Of course I have, right? Let me tell you about Octopath Traveler.
Oh my god, that's not even fucking...
No, I'm joking. Not necessarily low key, since it won Best Adventure Game at the Game Awards, but I feel like it's a game that more people should play, and that's Dead Cells. And the reason I say that is because even though it sounds like it's out of your comfort zone when you think about, like, because there's a certain niche audience for extremely difficult games like Dark Souls and Dead Cells, and it doesn't immediately appeal to everybody. But Dead Cells is the kind of game that's very, like, unlike Dark Souls, its difficulty never seems unfair. And I can say that, like, as a huge Souls guy, like, sometimes it feels unfair, right? But Dead Cells, whenever you die, it is very clearly your fault, and the game does a really good job of progressively making you feel more powerful. Even when you die, when you start a run over, when you start, accumulating enough, mutations and money to start off with better equipment, like, the game does a really good job. That carrot and stick of accumulated power throughout the game is really, really just an amazing feeling. And if you haven't played Dead Cells, if the difficulty scares you off, like, seriously, like, just give it a shot. I'm telling you right now, it's just a fucking, plus it's just a beautiful game. Yeah, like, I mean, it's a Metroidvania and it's extremely difficult. It's a roguelike, and it is up there with my favorite games of last year. So if you haven't played it, please, you owe yourself to try it.
Does anybody else have any before I talk about some?
Please, Zach.
Go ahead.
So let me tell you about a little bit of a small game called NBA 2K. No,
dude, you almost made me swallow my bird.
But no, listen, it is not a hidden gem. It shouldn't be. But I'll say it anyway because it's not on PS4 and it's not on Xbox One. But Into the Breach fucking slaps.
Yes.
That game is fucking tight.
Into the Breach is extremely my shit 2018.
Yeah,
like
it is. Now it is not low key because it won several Game of the Year awards. Holy
but not enough people bought it and played it.
No, so let me give a quick rundown. Into the Breach, isometric, categorically isometric tactics game where you control 3 people and there's multiple enemies, and the whole time you're trying to balance killing off as many of the enemy aliens as possible while also protecting buildings, which are also like the power supply. If too many buildings get knocked down, the Earth will simply collapse and you lose. And it is not proc gen. But it's a roguelike. right? Is that categorically how we would
Yeah, it's a roguelike in essence. I mean, it's the same people who made Faster Than Light, and it's very similar, both in terms of like the way they do their pixel art, as well as although it's I think it looks much prettier than FTL.
Yeah, for sure.
And then in terms of like the addictiveness of okay, well, I did a run and it was real quick and I failed real quick, but like I'm gonna go again, and it's varied enough, different enough. You're gonna do a lot of individual runs, unlocking new teams of mechs, things like that are very different.
Yeah, very, very different. And like the cool thing is like I've only beaten it successfully once, a single run once, and it was 2 hours. So really you're looking at these experiences where like even the longest runs can be done in an afternoon, and I think I find that really approachable. Another thing is that it is also co-written, or at least in part, by Chris Avellone from Obsidian, who is now not Obsidian, but you probably have seen his tweets, whether you know it or not, on Twitter.
Zach, I just want to point out that I'm not sure what platform you've played Into the Breach on.
Switch.
Switch. Okay, I was gonna say, dude, that is the perfect like if anybody.
It's very bite-sizable. Like you can sit down and play it for just a short period of time, and then
a
be
game
done.
is perfect on Switch. What?
Yeah, what?
I've never heard that before.
No, Jeff.
We
seriously.
have never said that.
No, Jeff. Seriously, this one is like as digestible as each level is. Like this is the perfect game for a commute. Like if you're on the bus for 30 minutes and you need to pop it out, like it's perfect for it.
That is a bad sentence out of context.
Really it is. Yeah, let's not.
The other thing that's great about Into the Breach is that so there's always, you have to play one level first, I think, and then you can immediately jump to the final section of the game and end it if you want, and the difficulty will scale accordingly, and your reward payout will scale too. But it's really cool because if you want to clear every level and then do the final section, it is 2 hours, but you could potentially do the first level and then go right to the final and probably beat the game in 30 minutes if you are very, very good. It just feels really, really good. And just a quick thing to wrap up my section, like the Tetris effect. I don't know if people are familiar with that. The idea of like if you play a lot of Tetris and then you go to bed and you're laying there with your eyes closed, you'll end up subconsciously thinking about Tetris.
Oh Christ, yes.
That, and I never had that in other games, but Into the Breach, for whatever reason, after I played Into the Breach over the holiday season, when I was going to bed for like several nights in a row, I was just thinking subconsciously.
You want one more hit?
I was thinking like move sets with the various characters. Like Into the Breach, man. I mean, it's been talked about a lot in the last
very
couple
simple,
months,
very digestible, but very, very fun.
It fucking rules.
It
sounds really
slaps.
Cool. That's one that's been on my list for a while that I really want to check out.
Get there,
dude. Seriously,
and it can probably run on a potato PC. It's pretty low key. So
I'd probably grab it. I'd probably grab it on Switch.
True.
Yeah,
you got to Switch now. That's the perfect delivery system for any game, really.
Fuck off.
Zach, what do we got next, baby?
Okay, so listen, 2018, it's over. We're into 2019. New year, same bullshit, but 2019 predictions and what we want to see this year from the industry and from the games themselves. John, listen, Game Daddy, get us started.
Yes, sir. So I will start with a prediction I think we are going to see in 2019 from Nintendo. I think this is the year that we finally get Pikmin 4, Derek. I think it's time.
It's reasonable. Yeah.
I think the writing's on the wall for this one. We know it's been in development for years now. I'm going
to look up when the first mention of it was, and it's going to be a disturbing amount of time.
I want to say it was like 2016. So I mean, it's been some, or maybe 2015.
It's before.
Is it longer than that? Is it been?
I'll look it up for sure, but I promise you, it's going to be some amount of time. We'll be like.
It was like 2014 or something.
Was it 2014? Yeah, Pikmin 4 has been in development for quite some time, but I think the time is now to see that game on a Nintendo platform. But more than that, I think this year, this is both a prediction I think we're going to see and a prediction I would love. I think we're going to get a new 2D Zelda, probably a remake of either Four Swords Adventures or Minish Cap. But I think there's going to be a new 2D Zelda coming. Zach.
I just want to I'm just gonna ride on that.
Please.
Mario Maker meets 2D Zelda. End of my prediction. That's it.
Dude, a Zelda Maker would fucking slap. Holy shit.
I don't know that it could work, but
no, it could, because think about all the various graphical styles of 2D Zeldas. You've got NES, Super Nintendo, Game Boy, like Game Boy Advance. I mean, dude, like it could fucking 3DS. It could fucking work.
I am here to dream, Derek. With reality.
I'm just saying, I trust people to make Mario levels more than making puzzles and dungeons. Like,
yeah. But I mean, didn't they say they made kind of like a pseudo Zelda maker for like experiments for Breath of the Wild or something?
Yep. Yeah, they did it to test out the physics system to see what would be fun. So I mean, like if they've got it internally, we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's going to be a 2D. Go ahead.
I was going to say, back to Pikmin 4 real quick. In 2015, it was announced that the game was close to completion, in Miyamoto's own words.
We're Square Enix up in here now.
Yeah. So it's, yeah.
Speaking of Square Enix, I got one more prediction for 2019 that I'll pass the baton. Final Fantasy 16 announced for next gen.
This year?
No.
Just announced.
Just announced.
No.
And we'll see it in 2027. But
Hey.
Are we taking bets?
I don't know. We can.
Does anyone here have money to make bets? Because
what's on the line? What are we betting? Come up with a bet, and I'll take a bet. But I want to pass it on to Zach. It's time for some predictions.
No. My predictions are simple. 1, Zelda 2D. It's going to be Mario Maker-esque. Okay. Let's see. 2, PlayStation 5 announcement. Probably. Come on. It's obvious. That's not even ballsy at all.
Yeah.
I'll just say it because I've seen it on a couple of websites listing. Halo Infinite not happening this year. That's
no,
next gen,
God,
baby.
no, dude. That's a next gen game.
That's next gen, baby.
Yeah.
That's a next gen game.
Microsoft is calling this the years of Gears. Baby, you're launching Gears Funko Pop. No.
Yeah, Gears Funko Pop.
Boo, no. And this is the Gears finish. Boo, no. Gears Tactics. I can fuck with that.
I would play some Gears Tactics. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, in Gears 5. You know what? I'll always take more Gears, but listen, Gears is always gonna be fringe.
Guys, no Forza, Gears Racing.
Gears, fuck it, dude.
Gears of Gears.
Gears Kart.
Now, hear me out. Forza Kart. I think we might see a Forza Kart racing game this year.
Well, hold on. You're gonna have to break that down for me real quick. How does a Forza Kart racing game like with
Banjo and Conquer and
Banjo and Master Chief riding around in little carts?
Yeah. No,
There's a
no
locust,
cars.
I love this idea.
Cars, driving cars.
And also, hear me out. Maybe it's developed by the Sonic Racing team. Maybe it's developed by the Sonic Racing.
Don't they have a racing game that's supposed to come out ever? Like,
I think it's Q1 this year.
It's
not
gonna be like
teams.
I know.
Also, one more thing.
Oh no, please.
Crackdown 3. It ain't gonna be good.
Nope.
That's a 7 out of 10 game.
No.
I just heard John's mentions exploding.
Yeah.
That I agree with Zach. That Crackdown 3 is a nice solid 6 out of 10 game in a best case scenario.
But like in the Game Pass era, I don't give a shit.
So that's the thing, Derek. That's the thing that they are going to drop Crackdown 3 into Game Pass day one, and they're going to be like, "Here it is, guys. Let's move on to let's talk about what's next."
Yeah,
like
what's next? Because
sorry, Forza Kart Racing apparently is next because Zach was talking like he was an insider with that information. You were a little too specific there, Zachary.
That didn't sound like a prediction to me.
What do you know?
Listen, all I'm gonna say is that the Xbox always launches with a motorsport title as a launch title, not just Forza, but a motorsport. And I think that 2020 at the soonest will be when we see the new Xbox. So I think that we will see some filler from
they release one every goddamn year.
Well, they do, but it's usually Horizon Motorsport.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
I think they're gonna throw a little kart racer in there to give Playground more time on their Fable game. And to give Motorsport more time to be a launch title, but we'll see. You know, that's just a prediction.
Speaking of predictions, Brandon, do you have any predictions?
Oof.
Brandon's like, I'm gonna play more Fortnite. I'll tell you that much.
What's the Fortnite trajectory?
Man,
we lost him.
It's so unpredictable. So the one thing I've learned about Fortnite is that nobody ever has any, and that everything everyone predicts is always like not even that actually happens.
That's true.
Good talk.
Okay, wait. Will Fortnite continue to trend upward or at least stay relevant?
Okay, that's a good topic. Yeah, like will it end 2019 more popular than it ended 2018?
Right.
I don't think so. I think I think it reached its peak in popularity this past summer. But I still think it's going to be like one of the 3 most talked about games by the end of the year. Like it's still going to be at the top. But it's not going higher than where it was.
You think it's gonna be like a Minecraft situation, maybe, where like it's past the peak, but it's not fading away. It's gonna stay huge and ubiquitous. It's just not gonna be like in the news, like in the local news every couple weeks.
2019, more. They're gonna still put out new dances. More people are gonna sue. It's still gonna be in the news.
No, I tend to agree with Brandon. Like, I think that Fortnite. Well, I'm not going to say it's on the decline. I think it's peaked. I agree. But at the same time, it's so part of the gaming cultural zeitgeist, just like Minecraft and Call of Duty at this point, that it's not ever going away. Like it is.
I mean, they just added the creative mode like a month ago. So,
yeah. Exactly.
Let me put it this way: there's going to be Fortnite ports to PlayStation 5 and Xbox, whatever number they slap on the end of it.
Day one. Like those games are not those games
launch titles.
Yeah.
I will say this though: my son, after 190 hours of Fortnite on Switch, he's done. Derek, you know what killed it for him? Smash. Smash killed it for him. He even got a Fortnite, and I thought this was hell. He got a Fortnite shirt for Christmas with all the dances on it, and I was like, this is hell. I was like, my son is going to be wearing hell. But we returned it because he didn't want it, because now he's bored with Fortnite, and he wants to play Smash all the time. And I was like, son, you know what? This is how you delete games from your Switch. Let me show you how to do it. I'm not telling you have to do it, but if you want to do it, this is how you delete a game from your Switch. But Derek, what about Derek? Why don't you throw us a prediction, my man?
All right,
Zach, I'm stealing your thunder. I'm sorry, baby.
I'm not host.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
I like you running the show.
Listen, Boomer Dad wants to take over. What's
no. I like you running the show.
Derek.
No. I'm passing the baton.
Derek, talk to us about your predictions, buddy.
All right. Safe prediction number 1. Death Stranding not coming out this year. This is not happening. I don't care how much they it's not. Don't even. It's not happening.
Norman Reedus said what? Q1?
I don't believe Norman Reedus. Why would he know?
Shadow drop at PAX.
Why would he know?
That Reedus interview.
I'm saying it's not even happening this year.
No, I don't think it's happening this year. I think there's a question whether it's 2020 or 2021. Let's be real. This is a Kojima game.
I'm with you.
Just accept it's like Nomura, except not quite as bad. Like,
keep in mind also, the game didn't actually start development till like mid 2016.
Right. He made a couple of Tool music videos before he actually started development on the game. So,
and like he just tweeted today, like literally today, he was like, when 2001 Space Odyssey started shooting all stuff, they didn't know how it was going to end. Video games are the same way.
Like, no, that's actually the opposite of how good development works. You start with a fucking game design document and you go from there. You don't just start a sentence and see where it's going to end up in video game form. That's actually really bad development practices, and that's why Metal Gear is such a fucking disaster. Like,
Derek, I'm going to give it back to you because I'm like piggybacking you really bad right now.
Yeah.
But I just want you to address all of PS4's E3 showing last year. What are we going to see this year in your prediction?
So here's the thing. I think the problem is, Days Gone is coming probably first half of the year, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's getting moved very far. It's April, and I don't think that's likely to move. If it gets delayed, it's a month or two. It's coming first half of the year.
Well, it was.
That's a 7 out of 10, by the way.
It was
something like
February, but they specifically said they delayed it specifically just because February was so busy.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
Also, I think that game's been through development hell. It's a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Here's the problem. Ghost of Tsushima, we don't really have a great idea how far along in development is. We know it's been in development for a very long time. We have no real grasp on how heavy development has been and for how long. And we only just saw gameplay footage at all, really. What was it, last E3 that we saw much of anything in engine? That's not a great look. Like, is that coming this year? They say, I think,
and
but like
even that part that they showed, it's one of those demos where
it looks real scripted. It doesn't look.
Yeah, or even if it's not like fully scripted, it just feels like they just built this one little area.
It's a vertical slice.
Mission. Yeah, I don't feel the connection to the rest of a larger game. It's how I always felt when they showed Scalebound at Microsoft's things. Like, I was like, regardless of everything else about Scalebound, I was like, it always just felt like carefully constructed demos for these purposes, but it never felt like a full game.
So I worry that Ghost of Tsushima, if it's coming, I don't know that it's coming like early in the year. I think it's coming maybe later in the year, if it's coming this year at all. And man, Last of Us 2, I've got some real beliefs that may miss this year. I'm not going to call it like it's definitely missing, but I don't.
coming this.
I don't feel good about it hitting this year, guys. I really feel like it's going to end up being much closer to PS5 launch and end up launching cross-platform, but closer to the PS5. It might be like a Twilight Princess scenario.
That's what The Last of Us did.
That's what. Oh, no,
The Last of Us was out for a while before. It was out for like a year.
The Last of Us released 6 months before the PS4 released.
Yeah, but I think we're more saying like a Breath of the Wild situation where like it comes out at PS5 launch, but it's also on PS4.
Compatible.
Yeah, it's on both.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Derek.
Oh, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, just like branching off that, the last year the PS3 was wild. They released Gran Turismo 6. And
that was after the PS4 launch too.
Beyond Two Souls, which is like not the same level, but still like another major exclusive. All those were in October or summer, like
and
months.
God of War Ascension as well.
Yeah. So God of War Ascension was 2013, and none of those had PS4 ports ready to go. They were all PS3 exclusives at the time.
Yeah. And then I got one more bold thing. So I'm sorry I'm being a negative Nancy. I've got nothing coming this year that I think like, oh, this is definitely happening. Y'all, I don't feel like Metroid Prime 4 is coming this year.
I agree with you.
I don't think so. I think Nintendo. They announced it forever ago. They announced it like 2 years ago. Now I think Nintendo can afford to miss Metroid Prime 4 this year because they've got a lot. I mean, between like Yoshi and probably several ports, they've got new Pokemon. They've got maybe a new Mario or Zelda related title. I'm sure something like that's coming. Even if not, fucking Animal Crossing is going to be huge. Potentially Bayonetta 3, potentially Pikmin 4. Like, Nintendo's got a solid year. They can afford to miss Metroid Prime 4, especially if they show a good amount of in-progress footage off this year and say it's coming next year. Two things to add to that, Derek. One, I agree with you on Metroid Prime 4. I am 110% certain we're getting Metroid Prime Trilogy on Switch this year. And we'll see about that.
What's that?
I said we'll see about that. It's the game that keeps failing to materialize.
No, it's coming. I guarantee you it's coming.
It's like the Xenoblade Chronicles X port. I don't know anymore, man.
I could feel Jeff's pulse quicken when you mentioned Animal Crossing. Like, I can just feel his energy.
Animal Crossing is going to be huge. It is one of the single most, back when I was working for Nintendo during the Wii U era, it was one of the single most requested things. And it was one of the things I was harassed about most, like friendly harassing, not actual harassing, as a Nintendo rep. Was Animal Crossing, when's it hitting Wii U? And it didn't. So
yeah, I know. So I got a Wii U expecting it to come and waited an entire gen.
I get the feeling that Animal Crossing on Switch probably started as a Wii U project and it just stayed in slow development because the Wii U, they were like, well, this isn't going to save the Wii U. So they threw like not Happy Home Designer, the fucking Amiibo party out there just to have something with the brand.
I would love to know exactly how many games ended up like that, you know?
And I think the 3DS continuing to sell so well, like, affected that too, because they're like, well, people are still buying a shitload of 3DS, and we got an Animal Crossing, so they can play it there.
Well, and they added the RV resort to Animal Crossing 3DS, like what, maybe a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. They added a late update to that 3DS version of Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I have one more theory actually. I'm going to take it back. This is going to be my one positive thing. So Pokemon on Switch, the big hardcore Pokemon game on Switch. I mean, A, it's definitely coming this year. B, I think it is going to blow people out of the water in terms of how much of the cultural zeitgeist it takes over. We look at how big Smash did. Okay, with the Switch effect. The Switch effect is real. Okay, games and franchises hit on Switch and they like blow up compared to what they've been doing before. And Pokemon Let's Go didn't really do that because it's not really sure who it's appealing to. Like, it's great for young kids and for real casual gamers and first timers, but like it's not what Sun and Moon was the best selling game in forever because of how strongly it appealed to a core Pokemon like audience. And Switch is going to do that, but on a system that a lot more Westerners and nostalgic Western gamers are going to want. So I think that it's very possible that Pokemon Switch comes and we're this time next year talking about the record-breaking sales even for the Switch that Pokemon did.
And just on that, Derek, do you think, like we saw the reaction to Detective Pikachu trailer, and like I had people on my Facebook who don't even play games that were like talking about that. Do you think the timing with that and then a Pokemon Switch shortly after could just be like a perfect storm?
That is I think it's a perfect storm, and I think it's halfway intentional. I mean, not necessarily like they were like it's going to come out X number of months before, but I think that Nintendo knows Pokemon is the biggest multimedia franchise in the world, but it's also been kind of on a bit of a decline overall over the years. You know, and Pokemon Sun and Moon was a huge shot in the arm, and then Pokemon Go was a big, like, it's a big moneymaker, and it was a really big moment in time for general pop culture, but it's mostly slid into a very dedicated, very large, but very dedicated mobile gaming crowd. And then Let's Go didn't really do what they wanted it to do in terms of it really has not kept the buzz that Pokemon games traditionally have. And that can't really be blamed on Smash. Because it should have been the other way around. Pokemon should have eaten Smash for lunch. So I think that Pokemon
that really surprised me.
Yeah, well, I you know, I think I might be the only one that I know of out of this group, and maybe out of any commentators I was thinking, almost nobody was saying that they thought Smash would beat Pokemon. But you know, I had a feeling that Let's Go wasn't gonna do it for the Pokemon crowd, and it doesn't seem like it is gonna have the same legs. We'll see, but Gen 8 HD Pokemon, following the more traditional art style and mechanics of like Sun and Moon, you know, and whatever else they do, unless something goes terribly wrong with the new Pokemon, next gen Pokemon on Switch is going to be the kind of thing that a year from now we are like still in awe at the crater that it left in the gaming landscape. I really do believe that.
So listen, Derek.
Yeah.
You've given us extensive lists.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's not as negative as you thought. But listen, Justin, we know we need your predictions. But first, Jeff, I need to hear from you.
Sweet baby boy.
When is Animal Crossing gonna bless
Ooh,
us?
ho, 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 ho.
You know, I actually was talking about this with someone on Twitter. Like, what I like to do with franchises, it's meaningless, like, because they don't make the decisions this way. But I just like to go based on past games of the franchise. Some games and even some movies always hit at a certain time of the year. That's just when they slot in well. So I went back to Animal Crossing. It's just all over the place. Sometimes summer, spring, fall. Just based on the fact it was only recently announced and we haven't seen anything yet from it. I would love, to me, that is like a perfect spring, summer game. Just real cozy, like, you know, play on a vacation. But I got a feeling it's going to be like a October, maybe November, because there has been some Animal Crossings released there too, and it can hold its own any time of the year. I think most Nintendo games, Nintendo doesn't play by the rest of the rules. They do shit where I'm like, this game is going to get destroyed by all the other competition, and like they just, like, other sales of other games do not affect Nintendo games.
Fire Emblem comes out in fucking February, and it just sells a couple million units in February. Like,
it doesn't. Yeah, people don't buy Red Dead instead of Smash. They buy Red Dead and Smash. Like, it just works in its own little world. So I think Animal Crossing later in the year. I think it's a fall title, but I'd love for it to come sooner. What I do want to say is, you know, everyone knows, most people know I'm a big Ubisoft fan. Love my Ubisoft games. I don't think we're getting Steep 2 this year. I think it's a little bit too soon. We might get some more DLC. This was brought up in our DM a little bit, and I think maybe a little bit of conversation on Twitter. There was some, sorry, forgive me, I can't remember her name, but someone formerly with Ubisoft was talking about an existing Splinter Cell reboot game that had kind of been shelved, and everyone took that as it's canceled. In my heart, I feel like there is something Splinter Cell related in development at Ubisoft right now. I don't know what stage it's in. I don't think it's canceled. I think they know that people want that franchise. I really don't think they brought back Michael Ironside just for that little cameo in Wildlands.
Point.
You know, whether or not it's deliberately teasing a new game, I think that there's something going on there. I don't think it's coming.
Jeff, wasn't there the rumor that got canceled though?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It was information from. Sorry, who is it? What was the name I'm thinking of? Who was it that said it?
I don't remember for sure.
I know Jade Raymond was involved in the project.
Yeah,
it might have been her. I don't remember. But, and a project can be canceled and just get morphed into a different project in the same series.
Yeah, and I don't know like how long ago she left. Like, it may have been canceled a year ago and then rebooted or brought back online. Like, priority shift and change, right? So I feel like there has to be something happening there, because like semi-open world Splinter Cell is just a perfect fucking match for what Ubisoft is doing right now. It's great for a service type model with
look at like Hitman.
Ongoing
missions,
missions,
been.
Exactly. And yeah, so I think that We pretty much know Watch Dogs 3 is in development. It's been all but confirmed. Ubisoft's like voice assistant app, you could ask it like a question and it would basically say it's in development, and then they kind of removed that. And then there was a hint at the end of Watch Dogs 2. So I think Watch Dogs 3, I actually think it gets announced at Ubisoft's E3 show. I'm not convinced it'll hit this year. I initially thought they like to do short turnarounds sometimes on these things. I think Watch Dogs 2 was announced to release pretty quickly. But they've had some trouble with some titles underperforming. I think Watch Dogs 2, it did eventually do pretty good, but it didn't come out of the gates on fire probably like they wanted it to. So I just think they might be a little skeptical of that fall holiday release window, and that might end up spring of next year. But I do think we see it this year. I think it's real. I hope it's I really want it to be Marcus and crew, because I adore Watch Dogs 2. The stupid, goofy tone of that. Like, Ubisoft writing is not their strong suit lately, especially when they try to go the serious route. So I felt like just camping it up a little bit and just adding some fun. And those characters were way better than they had any right to be. I actually would love to see more of them. But so I don't know if they will bring them back. They seem to like to shift locations and change up the protagonists, but I would love to see that. And one other thing I'll say is, I've been saying it for a while, I do think there's a strong chance The Last of Us 2 hits this year.
Wow.
We'll
I don't know if that's ballsy or not. I don't know.
It's been in development for quite a while, hasn't it? So
the way I always look at it,
it could swing either way.
The Last of Us shipped in 2013. And I know Uncharted 4 was in the works at some stage before that, but basically at the start of 2014, Naughty Dog scrapped and rebooted Amy Hennig's game in just over 2 years and released it in the spring of 2016, all the while shifting to an entirely new console and porting The Last of Us Remastered in-house. I don't think it's unreasonable to think that they could take a lot of that engine work, hit the ground running with The Last of Us Part 2, and turn it out in a solid... I mean, we're already almost at 3 years, so 3.5 years would put it right in the holiday of 2019. I think that's realistic. I just don't know if it hits then, because Sony never releases these games in the holiday window.
With a big cut like that, Justin, talk to us about your predictions and Last of Us.
Piggybacking off of that with Last of Us, I think either two things happen. One, PS5 launch title that's a cross-gen title between PS4 and PS5, like Derek had mentioned, or it launches mid-October this year on Outbreak Day.
That'd be cool. Actually.
Because for the past few years, they started doing something every year on Outbreak Day that's had special merch, limited edition posters, fan events, stuff like that related to The Last of Us.
That's a solid prediction, Justin.
And it is a zombie game. Releasing in October would make sense for that.
Oh, the one thing that gave me pause.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Justin.
So I'm still not convinced that's happening. I think I'm leaning more towards it being a game that Sony might be even sitting on for a while to launch on PS5. But if it does launch this year, I'm thinking it's going to be tied into Outbreak Day.
Okay. Justin, do you have other predictions for the year, dude?
Yes. I don't want to predict too much on games themselves. I have a couple more kind of business predictions that I want to make. I think Switch is going to do insanely well.
Yes.
Hardware-wise this year. I mean, it's already had a fantastic first couple years, but I think both PS4 and Xbox One are going to drop considerably in hardware sales this
Which
year.
Makes sense. Like nobody should take that as a dire thing, you know?
Like especially PS4 has been selling the past 2-3 years
have been an anomaly, really, Justin.
Yeah, the fact that it's been continuing to grow at the rate it has is insane, and I think it's probably just going to finally hit the critical point where it just slows down.
I think it's going to hit 100 million units sold, though. Justin.
I think it's going to hit 100 million units before the middle of the year. I think PS4 is going to cross the 100 million units mark, but I think Switch is going to dominate the hardware sales in 2019. So with Sony pulling out of E3, I've been kind of guessing, trying to figure out something that they are going to do. And you know, there's been a lot of, hey, we'll see you in 2019. We'll see you in 2019 talk from their execs and stuff. I think we're going to see a major overhaul of the PlayStation Network early this year.
I fucking hope so.
Because they are discontinuing the PS Plus support for PS3 and PlayStation Vita. They have for years been hiring a lot of network people, and their new the new head of PlayStation, John Codera, is a former network services guy. And especially with the moves that Microsoft has been making with stuff like Game Pass and various other services, I think they're going to have an event kind of like the PlayStation meeting, but not for a hardware announcement, but for something related to the PlayStation Network.
So I think that if I could piggyback off that real quick, Justin, I think that revitalizing PSN before the PS5 launches should be priority number one.
And especially if they don't have a huge library of games launching this year. There's big question marks on 3 of the 4 titles that were at E3 last year. And some of them could launch this year. A lot of them could be next year. None of that would surprise me. But like, if they are going to have a year where they're not, putting out stuff like God of War and Spider-Man and Astro Bot and stuff every couple months, I think focusing on some of the network stuff to kind of keep people in the ecosystem and to get some of those issues sorted out before the PlayStation 5 launches would be a good idea.
Well, and if there's any year to do that, Justin, I think this is the year, because I think we can all agree that I think PlayStation 4 is going to have its weakest lineup in years in 2019. I think this is going to be
first party wise.
And for that's what I mean. For as far as first party games go, this is going to be their biggest off year since 2014.
I do have one more prediction going off of that, but go ahead.
No, go.
I think Dreams, if it hits
exists
with YouTubers and Twitch streamers, could end up being a big deal, because I think it appeals to a lot of people outside of the traditional Sony first party umbrella. I am not in the beta, but and it is NDA'd, but I have heard a few things about the tools and some of the stuff that people are creating, and it sounds very exciting. It could go either way. Like, if it doesn't, I think if it doesn't catch on YouTube and Twitch, it's not going to do.
We lost Jeff.
He'll be back.
I don't think it's gonna do all that well. But if it does catch on with like content creators, I think that game could have a long life.
Justin, no, Zach, please go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think that Justin's onto something, but I think it all hinges on onboarding and tool sets for new players. I think that the first 2 hours will be make or break for streamers playing Dreams. So we'll see. I like that prediction, because I always want to see creative, kind of off the radar games, even if they're from first party, do well. So I hope.
I'm also a big fan of Media Molecule.
To piggyback
I want to see them do well.
To piggyback off what Zach said right there, I'm thinking along those exact same lines, and I'll take it a step further. I think the success of Dreams is going to hinge on whether or not players have the patience for it. It's going to depend on how it's going to depend on how involved it is to really create an immersive world, which is why
if it picks up a YouTube community, I think it could be.
I think it's right, Brandon. Like I think
those kind of creative games like live or die on people watching videos of that shit.
I agree. But I feel like as far as sales go, like Super Mario Maker was not convoluted. Like you dragged shit with your stylus and you dropped it, right? Like that was it with Super Mario Maker, and it was easy to pop in, create a few levels, get out, play a few levels. And it sold really well. Super Mario Maker was one of the highest selling games on the
Dreams has an uphill battle, because how much would Super Mario Maker sell if that was just level maker?
Yep.
How did Project Spark turn out?
Game of the Year, motherfucker.
I was gonna say that's not sarcastic. I don't fucking know, because I don't remember when it came out or ever hearing. It was shut down.
Well, it was shut down. Yes,
I would have no way to know.
So a lot of the stuff that you guys are saying, I agree with, and is what I thought about Little Big Planet. and then Little Big Planet was a huge
did pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little
And
Big
I
Planet
also think
3 was not though.
No, 3 was not, but especially 2. And I think also I'm curious to see what kind of like long-term monetization they do for Dreams, because I think if they have like theme packs like they did for Little Big Planet.
The Little Big Planet ones were so good.
Yeah,
it could be
like,
a big deal.
Could you imagine like an official Marvel, like, because they did Marvel stuff for Little Big Planet, but if you could do it for something in Dreams, which is far more in-depth creator,
well, here's the other
really
question.
Neat.
Will Dreams, have they confirmed whether or not Dreams will have PSVR support?
Because that it will have some kind. They have not clarified it yet, and I know it's kind of up in the air because performance is kind of up to the person that makes the levels. But they are supporting PSVR.
I have a couple of Nintendo predictions that I was hoping to ask you guys what you thought. Or just kind of ask your opinions on one in particular. I guess my first one, and this is just a prediction I'm throwing out. There doesn't need to be a huge discussion on it, but I think that Nintendo is going to throw something on 3DS this year that is going to piss off fucking everybody. Because, I don't know what it is. I don't know what you call it. But
any game they announce pisses everyone off because we're all like, why isn't this on Switch?
It's going to be something like a 2D Zelda or something that they put on 3DS.
They can put it on 3DS, just put it on Switch as well.
Yeah.
But see, like I made that argument, Jeff, with Samus Returns, right? I was like, there is no fucking reason this can't be on Switch. Come on. And but it wasn't. And whether it's a Metroid game or 2D Metroid or a 2D Zelda, they are going to put something on 3DS that will piss off the entire fucking fan base. But
F-Zero 3DS, Kogasu says.
Oh my god, can you fucking imagine the salt? Oh, I would be one of those people speaking up. But here's the real question I wanted to ask you guys. I agree with Justin. When he said that the Switch will have its biggest hardware, out of all the big three, the Switch is going to sell the most. I agree with that 100%. And the Switch is already ready. It's when you look at the titles coming out, it's already going to be a big year. But I feel like there needs to be either a Zelda or a Mario game this year. I feel like we're going to get one or the other. Whether it's a new 2D Mario, a new 2D Zelda, a new 3D Mario, there's going to be something.
Well, New Super Mario Brothers U might as well be new to. It's not new.
It will for Nintendo. It'll count.
It might as well be new to a ton of people, because guess how many people played New Super Mario Brothers U? Fucking nobody. It was on the Wii U. It was on the Wii U, so it's gonna be new to a ton of people, and it's a really damn good game. So, like,
kind of on topic. Do you guys think we get Mario 3D World this year?
Ooh,
like a port? I mean, I just like of all the Wii U games to come, I'm surprised that one hasn't. It's 4-player co-op. It seems perfect for the Switch.
I could fuck with a July release for that.
Yeah, that would be a good. That would be a good. That is up there with like Xenoblade X and some other stuff that would be like a good port for a filler for a month where they don't have something already bigger.
Okay, so I got a prediction for you guys. Here, bouncing off what Jeff just said. I don't think we're gonna get a port. I will say that we are going to get Super Mario 3D World 2.
No. I think we got New Super Mario U.
I don't think they're going to do 2 Mario ports from the Wii U in the same year.
I think we got Luigi's Mansion coming this year, and that's our Mario series game.
I don't think so.
I think so.
Luigi's Mansion is great. I love Luigi's Mansion, but that's not a replacement for a core Mario.
It's not, but I think that's coming, and I think we'll see maybe like a new Zelda announced, but not released, and I don't think we'll hear anything about a new Mario. That's where
I see Zach chomping in the bit.
Sorry, I had to move the cat. So
that's a great.
It's been confirmed, but if it hasn't been confirmed, then I'm going to reiterate. I think we could see as many as 2 games from Respawn this year. One of which will, of course, be Titanfall 3.
I want it. I want it so bad.
Oh yeah, there will be Titanfall 3. Here's my thing. I think we are more likely to see a Titanfall 3 than to see Respawn's Star Wars project come out this year.
Yes, Star Wars project is not coming out this year.
Agreed.
I thought they confirmed it for this year.
They have
confirmed it, but it's
claimed. They've claimed November of this year. No.
If it ever does come out, because Star Wars projects seem to be fucking cursed.
But so here's what
especially at EA.
Here's what I think. I think that DICE has learned their lesson, and I think EA has learned a lesson about putting Battlefront and Battlefield from DICE up against each other every year. I think that they're going to start throwing in Respawn projects to buffer out those development times. I think that we will see Titanfall take the spot of a Battlefield or a Battlefront, and we'll see that in this fall. One more thing, and this is going to be a very niche prediction. Baby, Sea of Thieves ain't dead. Sea of Thieves is gonna have a fucking year.
Is this gonna be?
I don't have an opinion on this.
Is this reference to the fact that they're finally adding a story and lore? Like they said that they're starting on.
Sea of Thieves ain't dead. Sea of Thieves is going 1.0, baby.
Yeah.
Can you say No Man's Sky?
No, I mean, in all seriousness, I think the trajectory of No Man's Sky is what Rare is aspiring to. I think that Rare doesn't have anything on the horizon. I don't think Rare is going anywhere because Microsoft saw the fucking backlash when they closed the UK studio. I think we're gonna see a lot of Sea of Thieves. I don't think we're gonna see anything new from Rare.
I agree.
I don't know.
I got something because
Battletoads is a dream.
It got brought up in chat.
Battletoads is announced.
It's announced. It's being made by. It's being made by a different team though.
Oh no, I'm just talking about this year. It's not.
It'll be like a $20 gag indie game. Like,
well,
which
it
is probably.
It sounds like it's a 2D like it's like
$20 gag indie game.
2D,
we got it.
Yeah.
Listen, the only people who could potentially help with the vision of Battletoads in 2018 is Devolver. Anyone else won't move.
I agree. That's solid. That's
solid.
Zach.
Yeah, what happened to that Metal Wolf Chaos remaster?
That's coming like out April or something.
Yeah. Why is that taking so long?
I've got a kind of a vague prediction.
Ooh, let's hear it.
I think Capcom's got another surprise in store, and I don't know what it is, but I have a good feeling about Capcom. They're on a roll,
baby.
RE2 is gonna do awesome, and I don't want to say it's like Dino Crisis or something like that. I don't know if that's the game or like a Dragon's Dogma 2.
We know
Power Stone.
We know a couple things about. So this is my fucking wheelhouse, y'all.
Now is the time for Power Stone.
So here's the thing.
Capcom is gonna own this year. By
here's
the way,
thing.
At least Q1 for me.
We know that there is something in the works from Capcom. I don't remember who it was that said this. I don't remember if it was Ono or Itsuno or if it was Tsujimoto. But somebody up at Capcom was basically saying, we've got something coming. We're bringing something back, and when it gets announced, people are going to be like, what the actual fuck? We would never have guessed this game was coming. So wild cards, there's a wild card in the mix. And yeah, something like Dino Crisis or Power Stone or Rival Schools or something or Darkstalkers is not out of the question.
Can you guys?
I think we see an Onimusha reboot.
So that's the other side of things. We know that Capcom is
a couple weeks.
We know that Capcom is actively looking into, from a while back, new entries in Devil May Cry, which came true. And they were also actively looking into, I think it was like Dead Rising, Lost Planet, Onimusha, and like Devil May Cry were like the four big and Onimusha's getting a remaster, potentially a new game. It's some early point in development. I would be willing to bet. Basically, I think everything on that list, Dead Rising, Lost Planet, Onimusha, something is on paper at least. None of those are the crazy thing though. The crazy thing is something like one of their old fighting games getting brought back to replace Street Fighter V.
Darkstalker.
Or it's I think Darkstalkers is a very likely pick.
Darkstalkers, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Or Dino Crisis, because survival horror is coming back hard and it would work so well in the RE
Dino
engine.
Crisis with that fast, punchy Resident Evil Revelations gameplay. Oh.
Well, and that's what I've been saying.
Or Dino Crisis VR.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 7.
Do like Resident Evil 7.
Oh, yeah, Zach and I are on the same page on that.
So Capcom, how much of it gets announced this year, we have to see. It's hard because Capcom's been really good recently at keeping their cards close to the chest and not revealing them until much later. Until much closer to release, but they've pretty clearly, whatever development woes they had before, fuck that noise. They've got it figured out. Like
the Resident Evil 2 announcement, previews, trailers, release cycle has been perfect. I never felt overwhelmed with that. I never felt like I was sick of seeing it. I haven't been paying attention to it, so I don't want to see too much, but like that is just like the hype was there and it has stayed at that level.
I think they learned from Resident Evil 7, where it was just a little too long.
For the past year, Capcom has been firing on all fucking cylinders.
I think it's so clear that whatever like pipeline they have now because of the RE engine, like has completely revitalized development.
Yeah, because in the past couple of years we've gotten we got Monster Hunter World and Resident Evil 7 last year. This year we know we're getting early in the year Resident Evil 2 and Devil May Cry 5, as well as Monster Hunter World Iceborne, which is basically half a new Monster Hunter game.
And then they're probably going to have something for early
and
next
they've got
year. They
probably
seem to like this January.
Yeah, they like
window.
putting 2 games out early in the year, and it's been going really well for them. Their development is streamlined as hell. The RE engine is like the new MT framework. It is keeping them alive. So
it's just a fucking amazing engine. It looks so
very
good.
exciting time.
Good.
Yeah,
I want to kick it back to Zach. Everything on it has been 60 FPS. Like, it's awesome.
Let's kick it back to Zach real quick. Yeah.
Listen, guys, we have like 12 minutes left before the end of the night. But listen, we have 2 predictions that I want to touch on. One of them is from the audience. Another one is from me personally, but I want to hear your opinion on it. Dio says,
"Yeah,
I want predictions on Anthem." Listen, the fact that none of us talk about Anthem seems a little bit telling about Anthem. Am I right?
Yeah, I have fears for Anthem. I don't. There's too many negative, and part of it is maybe we're just superstitious and we see EA and BioWare and Service Game, and there's just too many bad juju vibes from those kind of categories in recent memory for us to want to feel good about it.
Sure.
Here's what I say. I think the game will be fine, quality wise. I think I don't think it'll be a bad game at all. I do think the past couple years, EA's marketing has been very poor for a lot of titles.
Yeah.
Battlefield 5 was another example of that. And because usually the Battlefield marketing is some of the best that I see for any AAA game.
And do you remember
it was very muted and very unfocused for Battlefield. A lot of their other titles haven't gotten showcases. Like, BioWare has been doing a bunch of Anthem streams, but they only announce them a few minutes before they go live and haven't had huge number of viewers. They've answered a lot of questions about the game on those streams, but they haven't had a huge audience. It really seems like EA's marketing is letting down a lot of their games.
And you remember Andromeda, aside from how the game turned out, I remember doing our show the E3 before it released, because they had Andromeda slated. It was for an early year release. When did it come out? In March or something?
It was March. Yeah. It was, and we were we need to drop this before the end of the fiscal year release.
But I remember the E3 before that, we were okay, when is their big showcase reveal for this game gonna be? Because this is the last E3 before it's out. It's got to be now. And then it wasn't. And then we got a weird little 1-second demo at the PS4 Pro thing where they showed a bit of it. It was just the most.
Oh yeah, it was just platforming too.
Yeah.
It was waiting for the game? Mass Effect 2 and 3 story trailer to come from Andromeda, and we never got that. We never got that big swelling orchestral holy shit, this is gonna be amazing. It was just, it kind of came out.
I think Anthem crashes and burns.
And back on Anthem, I think it'll have an okay start, but I wonder if everyone's trying to capture that Destiny zeitgeist again.
Yeah.
And I don't know, even within Destiny itself, I wonder if
Destiny
that
can't capture the Destiny zeitgeist.
Jeff, there's just not enough room. I mean, you got the Division 2 coming out. You've got more Destiny.
Division 2 is a month after.
So that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. So two quick things. One, Anthem will be fine.
It'll be a fine game.
It will review better than Andromeda, but it will be fine. BioWare, totally safe, especially with Dragon Age on the horizon. Yeah. BioWare's fine. Don't worry about BioWare. But like Justin was saying, Division is 1 month later. Division 1 had problems, but they have fixed it.
They have.
And Ubisoft sequels are traditionally very, very iterative in the best way possible. So even if Anthem is pretty good, we've got a good indication that if you like that gameplay loop, the Division is coming next month, and it's probably going to be more polished. Certainly different aesthetic, but listen.
Well, the thing
you're
with
not
Anthem
wrong.
that I'm curious about is literally every single game like that has launched with the same problems.
Endgame content.
Endgame content, total content in the game, story. And story is something that I think BioWare has a better chance at than some of these other studios. But like, I think Anthem is going to launch with the same exact problems as Destiny and The Division launched with.
I'm sure it will.
Everyone grinds out all the fucking story content in one day. And
I also
there's nothing to do.
I question if people are still as into the looter shooter thing as all these teams think that they are. Like, not to say they don't want to try them, but they all want to chase that big, the sales legs, the tail, the recurring service, like the monthly active players. And I just think a lot of people, it would take an amazingly special game to keep that many people invested for a long period of time. And I just don't know if that's the genre to do it, as opposed to something like Fortnite with their different seasons and events. And it's a different game model. And I wonder if the industry's shifted a little bit towards that. I think we even talked about that on the show before, but
yeah. Well, because even Destiny can't do it. And Destiny is the high watermark for success in that like style of game. And even Destiny has dropped off even with good reception. It doesn't matter. Destiny cannot go back to its high watermark, like, and it's the standard bearer. So I don't know, and nothing has come to replace it, which usually that's a bad sign when the big guy drops off and it's not because something else came out and took its spot in the same territory. Like, that makes me feel like it's not bad, but I think that general style of game is not gonna be like continually as popular as it started out as with Destiny 1.
Here's how to piss you off, unfortunately, is that I think that Destiny 2 doesn't do well. And this is maybe zesty. Destiny 2 is not doing well because even though Destiny 2 Forsaken is very fucking good, Fortnite exists and that shit's free.
Yeah.
Listen, I know that sucks, but it's really hard to sell somebody on a $50 expansion or now a $30 expansion when I can go play Fortnite for free and pay $10 and I can get all these cosmetics and all this. Yeah. It's the same loot. I mean, it's not the same gameplay, but it's a similar loot drop.
I hate to say it, I was given Destiny 2 free and I'm still not playing it. Like,
I've completely fallen off of Destiny. Like, I love Destiny, but I've completely, it's like, there are other games I want to play.
And I don't think people should take this as criticism of the games. It's like, it's hard to keep the same game, because Destiny 2 is the same game as Destiny, which launched in like 2014. Like
2014.
And that's
not that
same
long
game for 4 years. Like, that's crazy.
That's kind of the thing that I think is very difficult about like this type of game is like versus something like a battle royale game. Like, just take Fortnite as an example. Like, it's one map and they can just keep iterating on it. Whereas making content for these like co-op looter shooter games requires a ton of people and a ton of effort. And the player base burns through that content really fast. And I think that's kind of the biggest issue that that genre has, because it's a lot of manpower to not produce enough content.
No, I think Justin's exactly on point with that. And listen, guys, we're butting up against time, but I want everybody to take 15 words if they've got a take on this. 15 words or less. What is Fallout 76 look like in 2019 by the end of the year?
I'll give you one. Dead.
Yikes.
Okay. I'm sorry. Derek is dead. Brandon?
Yikes.
Yikes. John? 15 words or less?
I think we could all do this in one.
Yeah. Funeral.
Justin?
Quick question before my answer. Have they fixed the
anything
Y2K bug that happened on January 1st?
Not that I know of.
Is that the bug that deactivated all the nukes?
Yes. I guess this has kind of been my continued thing with checking in on Fallout 76. And so for those that don't know, all the nukes got deactivated in Fallout 76. And somebody figured out it was because it couldn't handle the date changing over from 2018 to 2019. So the game had essentially the Y2K bug, just the Y2K19 bug, I guess. So yeah,
What do you think? Where do you think it is?
Oh, I think it's gonna be rough.
There you go.
Jeff.
Okay, 15 words or less. It's not dead, but it's not Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, people will play it because it's Fallout. No matter how bad it is.
It's going to be Donald Trump's presidency.
I have 3 words by the end of the year. Free to play.
Oh yeah,
that's possible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's very possible.
They've already got that Atom Shop in there.
Yep, free to play Atom Shop monetization.
If they take it free to play, I give it another 6 months before it dies. It'll die halfway through 2020 instead.
I think no, baby, listen. Free to play, that shit's right until next gen. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I don't know, man.
I don't think so.
Man.
In theory, yes,
so.
But when I count the number of games that pivot from full price to free to play, I feel like the percentage that actually pan out is
0%.
Yeah,
It's about 0%.
Has it ever actually panned out?
I don't believe it has ever.
Evolve is doing well. Wait.
No.
Evolve died like a month after going free to play.
I'm probably the only one on here who played it, but Lord of the Rings Online was a pretty decently popular MMO, and it did introduce a free to play model, and it didn't like do crazy more numbers for the player base, but it continued to do well even after switching to that. But it's very rare.
Has anyone seen how Counter-Strike Go has gone since it went free to play a couple weeks ago?
No, give us an update on that actually, because that's kind of your bullshit.
I'm curious. Yeah, I guess I'll look up Steam Spy for it.
Okay. Well, yeah, because my understanding was that
didn't people get mad about something
yeah,
with CS:GO going free to play?
So they added Battle Royale, which is I think maybe a good experiment, but it also went free to play, and I think people who bought the game were worried A, that would open the door to hackers, and 2, it's the usual bullshit of I paid for this and now it's free.
It's the
they weren't actually worried.
No,
they were just mad.
It's the Prime matchmaking. So before you could pay extra to get Prime matchmaking, which would put you in like a higher tier. And you know,
it's like premium, like in Battlefield Premium, where you
people who can afford to not play with poor people. That's what it is.
Yikes.
People who could afford to pay to not play with Smurfs and hackers. And everyone who had CS:GO, the paid for version, got upgraded to that premium matchmaking.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, let me look at so that was like the main controversy.
I've heard the Battle Royale mode is truly god awful.
Yeah, there's no ammo in it. Nobody has
so I read it, and I guess it was just a headline. Fucking millennial. I heard that it is confusing and fast, but okay, which I think was like what I think that was.
You get a pistol with like 6 bullets.
I've heard it feels like a really bad mod.
Huh.
That's on brand for Battle Royale.
Listen. Valve runs a platform. They don't make games. Cut them some slack. Okay.
It's so depressing when you hear you say that. God.
Yeah.
All right, we better start. We better start wrapping up, boys.
I'm pooped, John. John, close us out, buddy.
All right, I'll take us home. We got some pretty cool housekeeping real quick. One more prediction for you guys. I think 2019 is going to be the year of SDGC. That's just me personally. I know it's zesty. It's a zesty prediction, but we're starting off the year right. We got some big guests coming up. So next week we have Steve Bowling from Nintendo Life and Game Explain is going to be on. Then the week after that we have Lucy O'Brien from IGN who's going to join us. We've got some big guests in the works. Some Ubisoft guests are coming on. I can't say who just yet, but they're big. And we're also we just confirmed our biggest guest ever on this podcast. I will let everybody in chat speculate on what that might be. I'm not going to tell you what it is until we have a date. But we just secured our biggest guest ever on the podcast, and we are very much looking forward to having this individual on SDGC. So
it's going to be a great fucking time.
Please, if you've never looked forward to anything on this podcast before, look forward to this because it's going to be fucking amazing. Yeah, guys, welcome to 2019. This is it. I think it's gonna be a great year for everybody.
We're putting out the trash fire and we're rising from the ashes. Let's go.
We've got a standardized opening. We got better production values. Like it's gonna be, we'll be at PAX East with press passes. It's gonna be fucking great. We're gonna have a great time this year, and we hope you guys stick with us on the ride. And for anybody new who has joined us or just recently found us, welcome. And we hope you ride it out with us as long as we decide to drive this train, which hopefully is years and years and years and years to come. I don't know if that sounds like heaven or hell. Like this,
we are in our 4th year, John.
We're entering our 4th year of SDGC. It's kind of fucking unbelievable.
John, and you're only a couple years from retiring, right?
Yeah, you motherfucker. That's right. Yeah, completely correct. You fucking.
Take us home, John.
Look, we'll address this after we go off the air.
Presumably, we are home.
Son. Yeah. So as always, guys, it's not always poetry, and we don't always agree, but we always keep it real. So please.
He had to read that line because it was new to him.
It was. We will see you next week.